Hello viewers, Tim Paul here, editor of Gambling Insider, and I'm with a familiar face, someone who's been in our magazines a lot, Araksi Sargsyan, Head of Business Development at DS Virtual Gaming. Araksi, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Obviously you guys specialize in virtuals, among other things. Wanted to ask, if you could rate 2024 out of 10 for growth of virtual gaming, what would you give it?
I would give it 8 out of 10. Because there are still many markets, many regulations that we need to cover, but the most interesting regulation is coming to us from Brazil, and this market, as you know, is very big and very interesting, and everyone wants to operate in Brazil. So we have some challenges there because the infrastructure in Brazil is not that prepared for virtual games. However, we are working hard to find the best solution for the players.
That answer is a nice precursor to the next question I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask if there was anything you could improve for the industry, anything you could target for something that maybe isn't growing as fast as it could. What kind of areas are we looking at there?
Probably it would be regulatory side a little bit, because you know that this process is not the fastest. However, people who work in this segment, they need to understand that they work for people. They work to protect people, and they need to request the same from the providers and from the operators. Maybe we're a little bit rushing as providers, and also it's the same with operators. So, however, I think that we could be a little bit faster in some markets, but the development now I see positive.
You mentioned Brazil. Obviously, everyone's mentioning Brazil at the moment. We've got the 1st of January next year in terms of sports betting and regulation. What are you expecting from that market? Do you think some people, as you mentioned just now, might rush a little bit? What do you think could happen in Brazil?
The most important thing in Brazil is that it should be regulated properly, because the Brazilian people should be secure and they should know where they can play and where they should avoid playing. Because first of all, the gambling industry, the gaming industry, is all about security, it's all about gaming responsibility. So as providers, as operators, we should be responsible, we should understand our limits. So we're happy that there is a regulation, so we don't see many tricky situations when players are hurted somehow. But what I want to say about Brazil, that yes, the changes will come, big changes will come, because the infrastructure in this country for our industry will change drastically. In the next 5 years, I see lots of changes in this market, and it will be very interesting and challenging.
Virtual gaming, which is a specialism of you guys, as a whole, you're looking to kind of get new players in for operators and maybe retain them at times when perhaps there's not a sporting tournament they can turn to virtuals. But in terms of alternative offerings, what do you kind of see as something that's risen similarly to virtual games? I'm talking maybe like esports, crash games. Is there anything that you've seen that has maybe changed the industry in a similar way?
I don't see any other segment who would be similar to ours. Why? Because our core working place is land-based. So when we speak about esport, yes, it has some presentation in land-based, but it's not a lot. When we speak about crash games are really fast. You need to know how to bring crash games into the market on land-based. And we, let's say 75% or 80% of all our turnover comes from land-based. This sphere is very important for us. But I would not say that that virtual games are complementary to sports betting. They are an apart segment, and they have their players. The players who bet on virtual games, they normally don't bet on sportsbook, and vice versa. It's the same. So, for example, I'll tell you an interesting part of one case, negotiations that we had with one of the operators. They didn't want to have virtual games in their bet shops because they believe that the players who play virtual games, they are louder, which is true. I will not hide it, and I told the operator that, well, that's true. It depends on your vision, how you want to see the business. Because yes, our players, they are more emotional than the players of Sportsbook.
Very interesting. A final question, if we're to look ahead to 2025, and this can be virtuals or it can be anything to do with online gaming, if you could give our viewers one prediction that might surprise them, what do you think that would be?
I think that, first of all, more countries will be regulated. Because people need to secure, the governments need to secure that the money doesn't leave the country, or it leaves for good reason. Another thing is that we'll bring more stability, because first of all we work in land-based, and land-based should be stable. Doesn't matter where we work. And secondly, well, we mentioned 2025. Next year we're celebrating our 20th anniversary. And we're launching new games, and it's going to be a very important year for us. And we're very interested now in many important markets, big markets. So we're happy. So far, we're very happy, and we're waiting for more excitement.
Well, good luck with the celebrations, and thanks very much for your time.
Thank you for having me, and good luck with your job.
Thanks so much, Araksi. Thank you.